I tried to bring a glass Coke bottle into the movie Glass, and they wouldn't let me. Glass is the new movie starring Bruce Willis, James McAvoy, Samuel Jackson, Sarah Paulson, directed by M. Night Shyamalan the Ding Dong. That joke is from Quentin Tarantino, so if you're gonna get pissed off, that's the man to direct it to. It's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and this is his newest and latest entry into his trilogy that was started with Unbreakable, followed by Split, and now we have Glass. So we need to square one thing away before we proceed with this review. It's very important, and that is this is a polarizing film. People love it or they hate it. That seems to be where we're at right now, so no matter where I come down on either side, this video is going to get a lot of downvotes. I'm sure of it. It doesn't matter if I tell you it's great. It doesn't matter if I tell you it's terrible. With that being said, let's get started. This movie has a very strong introduction. It kind of hits the ground running. The credits are being displayed in kind of an odd way in the beginning of this movie. They kind of go across the screen like this and then go whoop and then appear in the corner. And it's actually a cool effect. The problem is that it gets to a sort of quiet scene in a house where somebody breaks into the house and we kind of need everything to tone down a little bit and see where it's going. And then all of a sudden, as it's all quiet, you get starring blah blah blah, and I'm going, stop it, stop with that effect. We need to just focus on what's on the screen right now. And I know this is a minor gripe, but from a filmmaking perspective, it was weird. We quickly cut to Bruce Willis and his now grown son talking with each other, looking into some things. And for whatever reason, and it's only in this scene I'm referring to, their performances are wooden. They couldn't be more stiff. I don't know if they each had like a 16-hour day on set, and M. Night was like, we're gonna do this today. I have no idea. Because their performances are never this wooden again in the entire film. But in this moment, your big introduction to these two characters, it just felt really off. So these are all kind of minor complaints. I'm glad we got them out of the way, because where this goes after this is kind of a cool sort of Bruce Willis looking for this serial killer on the loose kind of scenario, and it's a damn cool way to start this movie, and it definitely comes out with a punch, and I like that, and I like that M. Night decided, you know what, if we're going to bring people back into this world, we need to get them excited early on, and this is a good method. What's interesting is the second act of this picture really slows down. It almost feels like a slow burn drama at this point. And I think that's okay. You know, I believe this movie has a 2-hour, 9-minute runtime. And that whole middle slice of the movie that I think some people feel like, wow, I mean, it's just a complete drama at this point. I personally believe we needed that. Without it, everything would have rushed along and we wouldn't have been able to catch up with these characters and see them in this unique situation that the three of them are placed in, and how they are kind of coping with it, and how each is affecting the environment that they've been sort of restrained inside. Third act of the film is building to a big climax, and again, without getting too into it, it's going to go one of two ways. M. Night gives you a fork in the road. It's either going to go to more of a conventional superhero ending, which is kind of, you know, it's getting set up for that, or it's going to take another route that's going to be a little bit more closer to the tone of Glass. Which way does it go and what happens? I'm not telling you, because this is a spoiler-free review and I respect that. Well, let's get through the performances real quick. Samuel Jackson, damn is he on point here. If you ever want to show someone Samuel Jackson's acting capabilities, Glass would be a good movie to pick, because he really taps into this character and just brings Glass to life. James McAvoy, who I thought was terrific in Split, is just as good in this, and he plays all of these different characters, including the Beast. Ooh, the Beast is gonna get you. And he chews up every scene that he's in. M. Night just let him go wild in this movie, and I feel like, you know, he kind of let him do that in Split as well, but this one, you know, we're coming right out of Split, so this is the follow-up movie. It makes sense to me as to why we get so much of this character, and he plays an integral part of the plot. Without James McAvoy's character, you don't have this movie, because so much of these characters, they're all kind of orbiting around him. Bruce Willis, he's catching some flack for this movie because he in my opinion, in my analysis, has been instructed to play more of a withdrawn character. That appears to be how he's written. That appears to be where his character is all these years later. There are some reasons for this. Again, I don't want to get into them. And I think it made sense if he were kind of, a John McClane or a Corbin Dallas from The Fifth Element. In my opinion, that would have felt really off. There is a certain style that this movie has. There's a certain tone. There's a certain feeling that you get from Glass. And I think that he needed to portray that character. Now, I actually saw Bruce Willis in a movie last year called Death Wish. It was directed by Eli Roth. It's a good revenge flick, and I didn't really expect it to be. Much to my surprise, I really enjoyed it. And my point is that he put in the effort in that movie. You could tell he really cared about working with that director and bringing that film to life. And I think with Glass, he does care about this project. He does care about making it a good picture. I just think that this is how he was told to play it. Sarah Paulson, who I was first introduced to through American Horror Story, is good. She's given the performance you would expect her to give. She is trying to get these people in rooms together and by themselves and explain to them, look, I study people that have this bizarre superhero complex. It's kind of a new developing thing I've tapped into, and I'm trying to prove to you that there is maybe something going on. I believe it's at the frontal lobe of the brain that is kind of maybe causing these issues or hiccups, and you feel that you're maybe amplifying these things to degrees that they don't really exist. And wow, is she compelling. She makes a hell of a case to these characters. I was blown away, because at first I thought, well, what are they going to be able to do with her character playing that role? She's just going to say, you're not real, you're not real, you're not real. The audience has already seen in the previous movies what's actually going on. So how is this going to be surprising? Well, M. Night is the master of taking things in different directions than you'd expect, and whoa, does that pay off. Now, I don't want to get too into the ending of this movie, and this is the ending of this movie, guys. People are either checking out and wanting to slam their glass Coke bottle on the ground and break it, or they're wanting to just sit there with their jaws dropped and go, oh my God, that just raised another half point for me. Bravo, M. Night. Again, that's part of the polarization that Glass has. I gotta tell you the truth, I'm on the side that loved this ending. This is going to be a picture where you're either going to completely get wrapped into what the filmmaker is packaging together and what he's providing you, the audience, with, or this is not your cup of tea at all. And I find it interesting because I do think this is a very well-made film, and I can't help but wonder if maybe over time, 5-6 years later, people will look back and think Glass was something really special. It's entirely possible that that won't happen. I'm just curious to know if it will. So if you hate the movie, I respect that. If you love the movie, I respect that too. Where I come down, it's probably going to require 2 or 3 more viewings to see where I truly stand, but I'll give you a rating. I'm going to go with a 7.5 out of 10. Just my initial impression, it's very good. I think this might be M. Night's best film since Signs. Yeah, I said it, and I know not everyone's going to agree with me. And like I said, everyone's free to have their own analysis of this film. Everyone's free to disagree, and I'm okay with that. And again, time is going to go by, the dust is going to settle, and we'll be able to talk about this movie with emotions not running as high, because there are people, the ones who are disappointed are extremely let down because maybe they loved Unbreakable, which came out about 20 years ago. They've been living with that movie and rewatching it every year since. Many of those same people loved Split and were thrilled to see that it took place in the same universe. So the expectations for Glass are extremely high. Just have some understanding for people that disliked the movie. I had to kind of wrap my head around the love-hate thing going on here. And the more I think about it, the more it does make sense. This movie just came out. Let's just kind of, acknowledge where everybody is on this. So what did you think of Glass? I know there are some wildly intense opinions out there about this film. Leave them in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. If you liked it and I missed some things you wanted me to share, leave it down below. I'm going to read them all. And, if there's things that you thought boy, did Peter get wrong. That damn movie Maniac. Let me know in the comments too. Tell me what you think I got wrong and what gripes you had with the movie. And if you're one of the few outliers that just thought it was okay, voice your opinion, because if you thought this movie was average right now in January 2019, you're in the minority. You're an outlier, because right now it's extremely polarized into I really like this film and I loved it, or boy, I hated this thing. So speak up. And as always, make sure you hit subscribe so you can stay inside the mind of a movie maniac.